Hello and welcome back to the studio where we paint away the stress of everyday life here in Wales. And as you can see, I'm going to be painting the dragon over there today. I've been asked so many times, can you paint that dragon? Can you paint that dragon? And this is exactly what I'm going to be doing today. The tracing is going to be available at www.clive5art.co.uk in the shop if you want to pop along there. I'm working on a 20 by 16 canvas, but you can paint on any canvas or any canvas panel that you want to. This is actually a canvas panel. This was supposed to be alive, but unfortunately Jane is not very well today, so I've had to think, well, you know, I've had to do this pre-recorded, unfortunately, because Jane's not very well. So okay, so I'm going to grab a pencil because I want to put an horizon line in, because we've got an horizon line. So I'm looking at my reference. I've got it on my iPad as well, and I've also got it on the wall over there. So I'm just gonna just very quickly just do a little line just straight through my drawing like that, and I've drawn that on in pencil just to save time. Actually, I could have used that, couldn't I? There we are. I could have used that. That's what I made it for, to make sure it was dead straight. But there we are. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Okay, so let's have a look at the colours that we're going to be using today, and you'll be surprised to see that I'm actually using red because this is a Welsh dragon. This is the flag of Wales, in fact, the national flag of Wales. So I got two different types of red. I've got a crimson and I've got a cadmium red. To that I'm going to be adding some burnt umber, a little bit of black and a little bit of white. I've got some ultramarine blue there for the sky because we want to put a bit of sky in, and I've got a bit of yellow just to lighten my reds or make a green with the blue. I've got some flow improver there, and I've got some liquid clear, which is a mix I make myself. I'll show you in a minute. Some medium mix in that bowl. That's just to stop the underbinding. And these products are all available on the website www.clive5art.co.uk. So please pop along there, have a look in the shop, and see if there's anything in there you like, because I do make my own paints as well. And that's the paints I'm going to be using today, are my own handmade paints. But you can use any paints you want. I just like my homemade paints. So I'm looking at my dragon, and I think we're going to have to get a little bit of colour into this dragon straight away now. Do I outline it? I don't know. Let's see how it goes first. I should outline it really, but I'm just getting a bit of sky in. Let's get a bit of sky in. So I'm just going to go into my medium mix. I'm going to pick up some ultramarine blue. There we go. Add a little bit of white to that. Just got a light blue, and let's just put some of that in. The canvas has been gessoed twice with some gesso, and there are lessons on gesso, why I use gesso and all that in the iCard. So just click those little iCards up there. I'll put it on the screen, and that's going to take you into that, and that's going to show you why I use gesso. Okay, so let's just put some sky in. I've just mixed a little bit of blue and a little bit of white, and I like this ultramarine blue for the sky. It's a really lovely colour. And let's just put some blue in like this. There we go. And I'm just going to lighten that now as I come down. I want it a little bit lighter as I come down. There we are. And just blend that in. We're going to be playing around with a little bit of blending today. There we are. I'm just going to paint around my little dragon like this, around my line. There we are, nice blue sky. This is to represent the Welsh flag. And I've been asked, are there actually dragons in Wales? Well, I believe there are. So they're very few and far between, these little dragons. We've got to look for them. Okay, so no, it's okay. Not really. There's no dragons in Wales. This is not Game of Thrones. So yes, there we are. This is going to be a wonderful painting of a dragon. And what I might do, if anybody actually wants to purchase this painting, then you can purchase it directly from the shop. I'll put it in the shop for sale, and if you want to purchase it, then please purchase it. And That's something I have never done before, is actually done a painting on a video and then put it up for sale. So I thought that would be nice as well, because I do get a lot of people asking me, do you sell your paintings? And I don't normally sell them, but I think if they turn out really nice, and because this is a Welsh dragon and I've already got a little Draco over there, so I don't think I'll need two dragons, otherwise they'll fight. They will. Okay, so let's just get a little bit of blue. As long as I can still see my drawing, I'm okay. I've actually got a photograph on my iPad as well, which I'm going by. It's of the same drawing that's on the wall there, on the painting that's on the wall. There we go. Let's get that nice, and it's a lovely sky. I like the sky. I do like the sky. If you find your paint is dragging a little bit, I suggest you get a little fine mist bottle like this one, and I'm going to make sure I got the right bottle, because I got an unlocking formula in the one for some paints, and I don't want to destroy my, I don't want to strip my paint off. There we go. Just get that nice. Just enjoy the process. A little bit more blue, white, and a little bit more ultramarine blue. You can have it a little bit darker in places if you want to. It doesn't matter. Like I said, this is just a fictional thing. Well, it's not fictional, really, is it? Because the flag exists. So this is just the representation of the Welsh emblem, which is a dragon. St. David is the patron saint of Wales, and there is a city down in West Wales called St. David's. It's the smallest city in the world, and I shall be taking you there one day in the summer, and we'll be having a look around the cathedral. We'll be doing some paintings of the local area. There's some wonderful waterfalls and things. I think it's called Canarth Falls. And there's some wonderful scenery, beaches, castles. Oh, fantastic, fantastic things. Fantastic area to actually live is Wales. Maybe a bit bleak on times, but you know, it's still a nice place to live. Okay, as you can see, I'm not having any trouble with the paint drying too much on me. Now, if you do have a little bit of trouble, just a little fine mist like that, just on the canvas or canvas board that you're painting on, and you want to blend it in as well. You need to blend it. If you put a little bit of mist on like that, you just need to wipe that water, those fine droplets of water, into the canvas, so they don't cause you any problems. You'll get things. If you have a look at the skin of an orange, you'll see it's got all little dimples in it, and that's called orange peel. When you get that dimpling effect on painting, and you can get it in domestic painting as well. If there's grease spots and things on a piece of wood or a wooden door, or the piece of wood goes around the room. We call it a skirting board because it skirts around the room, and sometimes you get these little bubble effects, and it's called orange peel. So we've got the sky in. That's looking nice. So I'm just going to put one brush aside. I'm just going to pick up another little brush, and this is just a Filbert brush. I don't worry too much about what brushes I'm using and what does what, and you don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about really is how the paint is going to go on. So you don't have to worry too much. Put a few clouds in like this. Put a few wispy clouds. Don't think too much about it, just put a few wispy clouds in. You can play with this, you can practice with this. This is a fictional thing. All it is we're just painting a flag, really. That's all we're doing, really. We are. Put some clouds in. Lovely. Makes me quite patriotic to be painting a Welsh flag today. There we are. Just put a few little scaggy clouds in like that. I don't know if you can hear those seagulls out there today, but for some reason we've got a lot of seagulls that have come over, and they must be flying inland for some reason. There you go. Just for a few light marks like that, just to represent maybe some clouds or something. There we go. Lovely. That looks nice. I like that. I do like that. Okay, I'm just going to wipe my brush because I've just put it in a little bit of water. I'm just going to pick up a little bit more colour on the sky there, like that. There we go. Now what we want to do is I'm going to get a little short flat. There we go. I'm going to put that brush in water as well. I don't like storing brushes in water too long because they can soak up too much water, and I don't like that. But for the sake of camera, I'm filming. I've just mixed a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of white together. So I want to try and get some mountains in the background like this. Some mountain shapes because they're distant mountains. It's quite hilly around where I live. It really is. I'm just going to put that shape in there like this. There you go. We keep a welcome in the hillside, we keep a welcome in the vale. Old Tom Jones, yes, that's not unusual. Wonderful man, wonderful singer. Lived not too far from where I live, which is in Pontypridd. It's a place called Pontypridd. That's where old, I don't say old, Sir Tom Jones. So Sir Tom Jones actually lived, and I've seen him driving through our village several times during the 70s and 80s. Going to the local pub and having a drink, and it was quite the thing. See old Tom Jones down the local pub. There we go. So I'm going to put a little bit of green on them later on, but for now I'm just going to leave them as they are. So again, I'm going to pick up a short flat. I'm going to get some green. That brush has gone quite hard. In fact, I don't think I cleaned that properly. You should always make sure you clean your brushes properly, otherwise you will end up with problems like that, and that is not a good thing. So what we'll do, we'll pick up this short flat, and hopefully this one is okay. Yes, it is. I'm going to add a bit of white. This is Hooker's green, so I'm going to add a bit of white to that, just to lighten it up. Just to lighten it up. Maybe put a bit of burnt umber in it, just to dirty it off a bit. Well, let's just put some green in. There you go. And again, this is a wonderful way to paint. I've been wanting to paint this dragon for quite a while. Actually, I did make a video of me painting the dragon that's on the wall over there. But I did it as a speed painting because at the time I didn't know really how long a painting like this would have taken me. And it was one of my first videos I did on YouTube, and the channel is doing really well now at the moment. It's well over 110,000. So I'm so happy that everybody have tuned in and subscribed, and I want to thank you all individually. Well, not individually because I'll be here a week, but I want to say thank you to all of you for taking the time up to actually subscribe to the channel, and it makes my day every day I see my subscription go up. I'm thinking, yes, I'm so happy. You do make me smile, and I want to thank you. Even the people that have been with me for years. In fact, I've got people with me ever since day one, and they still watch the channel, and it just inspires me to keep going. In fact, it does. It inspires me to keep going. So I'm just picking up a little bit of my flow improver there, just because I want to the paint just to run a little bit more. There we go. So I'm going to go into some neat ochre's green now, just to get some darker colour, because I want to come darker into the foreground. There we are. We'll be putting a little wash of colour over this later on, but for now I just want to bring some dark colour. We put a little bit of grass and stuff in. There we go. There's loads of castles around in Wales. We've got Cardiff Castle, which is the capital of Wales, is Cardiff. We've got, this is not far from where I live now, so I can see the couple of the castles that I can actually get to within, say, let me just say within 30 minutes of driving from my house. So there's Cardiff Castle. We've got Caerphilly Castle, which is a wonderful place, Caerphilly. We'll be visiting there as well, hopefully in the summer. We've got Castle Coch, which is the red castle, it's called. Castle Coch. Coch is red in Welsh. So Castle Coch, which is again a wonderful place. And I'm hoping that maybe one day we will visit that, because I've never actually been there. There's a hare there. There we go. There's a hare there. There we go, I got it. I've never actually been to Castle Coch. There we are. We've got where are we? Where are we now? Where are we? In Castle Coch, we've got Cardiff Castle. There's a little village called Cowbridge. Again, not far from where I live, and there is a castle actually in Cowbridge. It's a Roman castle. Cowbridge is a Roman village, one of the first settlements in Wales, in fact. The same goes for Tenby, down in West Wales. That was a Roman settlement as well. So there's a lot of history around with us. And there's castles down there as well. There's Manorbier Castle, and there's Carmarthen Castle, and there's Pembroke Castle. And there's castles everywhere, I think. So we will be visiting a few of those during the summer months. Hopefully, if everything goes well. As I said, I wanted to paint this live, and it's a shame that Jane's not very well. So I thought we would do this pre-recorded today. When Jane gets better, then maybe we can start doing another live show, because I can't do it without her. I need Jane in the studio in order to man the cameras and things. There we go. Green, green grass of home. There we are. We've got some nice valley green. Valley green. There, like that. Did I say this was a hooker's green? I meant to say it was a valley's green. There we go. Let's get a few little ridges. I don't want to put trees and stuff in, because it's just going to spoil it. You know, I could put a couple of little dippy doo trees there, and I don't really want to do that. So we're just going to put a few flicks of lighter colour just through this this green, like this. Get a bit more dark then, there, What we'll do, we'll put some shadows and things on the grass in a minute, and we put some like little specks of grass and flicking up and down. We'll just put a little bit of colour there just for now, like as if there's a little bit of light catching. There we are. And I'm going to let that dry. Now, I got to move on to the red, but before I do that, I'm just going to run the hairdryer over it, just because I don't want to get any paint on my hands and I don't want to spoil my sky. Hopefully that should be dry enough. I've just picked up 3 brushes. There's a size 10, a size 6 and a size 8. I got a size 6 round, a size 8 and a size 10 short flat. These are available on the website www.clive5art.co.uk. So I'm just going to use a size 8 and a size 6 round. And I'm looking at our Drago here, and I'm thinking maybe I want to pick up a little bit of flow improver, just get into that crimson colour, because that's the darkest colour, and I'm hoping I don't get into too far into the shot, because I need to get a bit closer. And I'm just going to paint in the red dragon's head. This is a lovely colour to get started with. This is like a crimson colour. It's a lovely colour. Never painted a dragon before, then have a go. This is quite easy to actually to paint this type of thing. If you want to have a go with it, it's as far as paintings go in. You'll learn a little bit of brush control as well, a little bit of blending. It's a really nice thing to do, is something like this. I'm just going to get the block of colour out. Then we can add some details and stuff in later on. So I'm just looking at my drawing, my reference, because I don't want to keep looking over there. But it's not going to be the same. It never is. It's not going to be the same. It never is. When you copy something like this, it's inevitably is going to be different, because every painting is different. So that's his rear view there. So let's just get a little bit of flow improver. Will help the paint run. That's what flow improver does. It increases the flowability of the paint itself. So I'm just going to continue. I'm picking up a little bit of medium mix as I do this now onto my brush. I want to go in between these. It's a wonderful, wonderful hobby. If you're just painting to relax, this is the thing to do. Is just paint for fun. Some people paint to sell and to make a living and to go on to craft fairs, and if that's what you want to do, that's brilliant. And I take my hat off to anybody that does that, because I've done it for a number of years, selling stuff on craft fairs, and I was quite successful with that. But I found that making lessons like this for YouTube, I was getting more enjoyment out of that, and that's what I like to do. It's not necessarily what everybody wants to do, but you know, you've got to find something you were passionate about, and if you're passionate about, then you will put the time and effort into that then, and you will be rewarded for it. You will be rewarded. But everything's got to have dedication to it. You've got to be dedicated to everything you do. That's the trouble I find with a lot of children these days, is that they want everything today. They're not prepared to wait for it. And if you're a young person and you aspire to be something like and I talk to a lot of young people, because I got grandchildren and everything. I've just made a little bit of orange, so I'm just gonna lighten up a little bit of area here and there. Maybe a bit lighter than that. And they just want to be YouTubers and stuff like this, and of course you can be anything you want to be. But what you've also got to think of is dedication as well. You've got to be dedicated. So it doesn't matter whether you're building up a career with as an artist, or an electrician, or a car mechanic, or whatever your pursuit is in life. It's a lot about dedication. You've got to be so dedicated. You really have. And that's what happens, is that we think, oh, we can do it and it'll happen tomorrow, and it's not always the case. It's not always the case. It takes years, in fact, to be able to accomplish things. You can't just pick up a paintbrush one day and become an artist. You know, it takes a lot of skill, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice and a lot of effort on your part to be able to become a really good artist. So nothing is easy come by. There we go. So I'm just doing this little breastplate thing now. You see, I've used a little bit of orange there, just to lighten it up a bit there, because it's like as if it's catching a light. I'm going to get a little bit of crimson now, just to give a little bit of shadow there. Now if I put white to the red, it's going to go pink, and that's not what we want. So I'm using yellow to lighten my red. I want a light orange colour, because we want to put a little bit of highlight and just create a little bit of dimension to this dragon. Now what I'm going to do now is going to wash that brush very quickly, because it's a round brush, and I'm going to pick up some black. I don't normally like using black in a painting, but in this instance, because it's just representing a flag, then we can do that. So I'm adding some red. I'm adding some red to that black, and I'm pulling my brush to a nice short sharp point. And I'm going to put a little bit of shadow in. Well, not so much shadow, but a bit of colour in like that. We need to put in, just get a little bit of moisture on my brush, because it's not running enough. It's dragging on the thing then. And we're going to put his tongue, put a nice black line underneath the tongue there like that. And what were you going to call your dragon? I actually did a a dragon breathing fire. I'm not sure if that's still out. I'll have to have a look if that's actually still on the channel. Not sure if it is. If it isn't, I'll have to put it back up, I think. Maybe it's one of those videos I had to take down, maybe. And I take them down. If they're not performing well, sometimes I just take a video down. And then I can re-edit them. Because some of them are quite poor quality. Sometimes I will re-edit them and put them back up. Sometimes I take them down and I forget to do that. I'll put a little bit of yellow in his eye later on because I think yellow is going to be good. I'm going to put a little bit of black just in there. Just to darken that red up a bit. Bit of moisture. It's real fun when you're painting things like this. And maybe you've got a flag that you want to paint. I'm lucky that we got a dragon we can paint. Sounds like the church bells are ringing. There's a church not far from where I live. It's the village church. It's called the Church of St. Illtyd. And I'm just listening to the way the bells are ringing, because if it goes dong, 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 that means there's a funeral. If it goes dong 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 dong, that's when they're calling people to church on a Sunday. And it goes ding ding dong ding dong ding dong. That's when somebody getting married. So nice to get some cadmium red in here now as well. Cadmium's red straight onto the crimson. There he is. He's coming together slowly, I think. He's starting to come together. We've got to give him a little bit more depth than that later on. But I want to get the cadmium red into these things on the side of his face. They're like big, don't know what they are. I don't know what you call them. I don't know what you would call them. Yeah. Some yellow. And what I got to do when I put the white on, I've got to wait for this to dry, otherwise it's going to go pink, and that's not what we want. Let's get a bit of that black and crimson just to put his other ear in like that. Put a little bit of texture around there, like that. So we're going to have to do his tongue as well, I think. Get some black on that brush and Okay, I'm going to put that brush down. I'm going to pick up a smaller brush. This is I don't know what size this is. Number 2. Wow, this is number 2 brush. Very, very fine brush, this one, because I want to put in his tongue. Might have gone a bit mad there. Well, just alter that a little bit. Doesn't really matter. There you go. Some highlights and things on that in a second. Let's just put some. That's where the fun is going to be, when we start putting some shadows and stuff in. That's a little flap of skin like dinosaurs have got there. What I'm going to do is just going to wipe that brush off on a bit of kitchen paper. I'm going to get some of this black and red mix that we made. So he looks a bit gummy at the moment, so let's put some. Let's put some teeth in. You've got to have teeth. There you go. Now he's starting to look a bit like a dragon, I hope. We got a long way to go. We certainly have. It's a long way to go. It's one of the reasons I thought I didn't really want to paint this painting, because it can take quite a while to actually to do. But if you want to join me and sit down and watch me paint, then that's great. Most of you decide to do. I'm just going to pick up some yellow, because that is going to be his rear wing there. Back into some cadmium red. I don't know how many flags that have actually got things on them. I know, like I know the eagle represents the United States, but it's not on the flag, so I think we are lucky to have a dragon representing Wales. So I'm going to just change my brush. I'm picking up the number 10 short flat. I'm going into some of this. I'm just going to mix a little bit of cadmium red and some crimson together, because I want to get this paint to flow a bit there, like this. Looking like as if it's just merging all together at the moment, which it is, unfortunately, but what we've got to find is the shapes of the wing. So I'm going to pick up some yellow on my brush, which, why did that go green? I don't know. It's gone green. Why is that gone green? Not a problem. I don't know what happened there. I think I must have touched a bit of green instead. So we just wipe that off with a bit of tissue paper, like that. Clean my brush. And then go in with some yellow, like that. Still got a bit of green on my brush. That's strange. Must have contaminated my yellow and I didn't realize it. No matter. Does not matter. I'll lighten that bit up after. You'll see what I'm doing in a minute. There we go. Just mixing these two colors together. Getting some crimson back on my brush. I've lost count how many times I've painted the Welsh Dragon, by the way. Over the years, I don't know how many times I've actually painted it. I need to go back into some dark colour there now. That's just going to fade in to there. Let's get some crimson. Nice. I'm just going to get a bit of black because I want to try and establish this shape now. So I'm just going to blend into the paint I've already got. Okay, so we got another one there. So we need to get another one there. This is like the folds in his wing I'm trying to establish. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I don't know if you can actually. I don't know if you can see what I'm trying to do here, but it'll all come together. It normally does. There you go. Don't ever try to paint in one go if you can help it, because you're just going to mix the colours together and it's not going to look right, really. I'll be honest with you. You've got to try and paint in layers, and as much as I'm trying to paint in layers here, I've got to establish the shapes that I need as well, and I'm going to be putting some highlights and some shadows in later on, but for the moment we're trying to get this shape of this dragon. That's what I'm trying to accomplish at the moment. There we go. I haven't taken Molly for a walk today. I'm going to have to take her back out now. There you go, it's looking good. I'm kind of happy the way it's going so far. As far as a Welsh Dragon is concerned, it's looking quite Welsh Dragon-fied. Once the first layer is on, it's always better to paint on afterwards then. So we got a leg coming in there, so let's get a little bit more red down here. It's like a couple of different colours of reds we've got to try and play with to just give it that shape, because it's going to be darker down here because the wing is casting a shadow. So you know, when you're painting like this, you've got to think of these things, and you think, well, why is it darker there and lighter there? And it's because the way the shadows are falling, and red is not always red, is it? If you think about it, that's quite a dark crimsony type of colour. We assume red to be that colour, and it's not always that colour. Depends on the light. Sometimes surroundings can affect colour as well. So the green might be reflecting a green type of light onto that leg. Maybe it's reflecting light, might have that green tinge to it. You don't know. You've got to think of these things. Putting the paint on quite thick here, so I'm going to have to wait for this to dry a little bit before I play around too much with it. I think let's get a little bit more yellow. So just trying to build up the shape of this leg. If you wanted to later on, you could go around the outline of this with some black. We'll see how it looks. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll see how it looks, because as I said, this is just representing a flag at the end of the day. And we'll just what I normally do is just see what happens. I can adjust the painting as I go on. I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush now. Just to do his back leg a little bit. There we are, we've got this. Thing on his leg. I don't know what that is, some sort of spiky thing. What I think I'll do now is, because I'm going to concentrate a little bit on this, I'm just going to speed the little part of this up just to finish that, because it'll take me a while to do that, and then once I've done that, then I can talk a bit more, because it's going to make for too long a video really if I don't do that. So I'm just going to continue painting this. Maybe we'll put a little bit of background music on as I paint. I'm not going to speed it up too much. You're not going to miss too much, don't worry. It's not going to be super fast. Speed it up, but it's just so you can see what I'm doing, and maybe I can zoom in a bit closer then, and you can see the type of brush work I'm doing, and with the brush obviously, and maybe you can learn something like that. And when I'm editing, maybe I can voice over it or something, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes, as they say. We'll see how it goes. So I think I'll do that. Sorry I had to speed that up a little bit there then. Right, what I want to do now is I want to work on his face a little bit. I want to try and, because he doesn't look quite right to me. He needs to be, I think this needs to be a little bit more out there, like that. Oh, Molly barking in the garden. I think she's chasing some birds. So I'm going to be using a couple of smaller brushes today. I've got a number 6. Well, that's a number 6 as well. I want a detail brush. I want a number 2 round. So number 6 and a number 2 round. What I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to get a bit of, this is the second layer, so I'm going to try and build in a bit of shadow. Just get a little bit of depth into him. There you go. Make him a little bit more dragon-like. There we are. I'm just going to get a little bit of yellow, just on a very small detailing brush, because I want to put a bit of yellow in his eye. go. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of white to the orange, because I want to bring a little bit of highlight here and there and here, just to emphasize a little bit of light might be falling on there. There we go. Just a little bit of detail. We don't want too much detail, but I want it to be detailed enough to be able to believe that, you know, it is a dragon basically. There we go. What we need to do now is find these spiky things that are coming from the side of his face. So I'm just going to put a bit of highlight just down like that, so you can see them now. I'm going to put a bit more light there. We're going to put a bit of dark in there in a second. I want to bring a bit of light colour there like that. Okay, I'm just going to put that brush in the water. Some yellow, a little bit of crimson, you can make this as detailed as you want, and you've heard me say this. You heard me say this so many times in the past about this is basically your painting. If you want to make it as detailed as you want, you know, you don't have to do a copy of anything really. And something like this, then it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm just going to pick up a bit of white because I want to put some, like as if his little teeth, highlights of teeth. One of the most difficult things you can paint, teeth, especially on human portraits. Let's put a little bit of white there like that. And we get a bit of white there, just to catch it like that. Bit of light there, and we can put a bit more just along the edge, maybe there. Wiping that brush very quickly and going straight into some black now. And put in some detail there, and I want to increase the black there and there. It's just going to make it look a little bit more dramatic. Let's put a little bit of black under his eye there. Increase the black in there. Looking at this, we need to bring a line like that. There we go. We just put a bit of black there, just to make his chest stand out a bit. There we are. Nice. Okay, so what we got to do now, I'm just going to move that up a bit, and I want to put some black in there. There we are. Now we're starting to come together now. You can see that, like I said to you before, is you've got to think of layers when you're painting, so don't ever be put off when you're painting anything really, because the first 2 or 3 layers can be quite daunting, and it might look as if it's looking like rubbish. But you've got to keep pursuing it, because the more you work at it, the better it's going to get. You know, now we got his claws coming in. I'm just going to change my brush a little bit. I'm going to get some black because I want to increase the colour. I'm going to mix a little bit of cadmium red and a bit of black together. So I got that red black because I want to put in some shadow down here like that. Just darken that up a touch. As I said, this is the second layer. And the more layers you put on, you'll find that the paint will run a lot smoother. So now I'm picking up I'm going straight into some cadmium red. I'm not washing my brush, so I'm putting in more red than I am black, because this is going to be in shadow. We can put another layer of red on top of that later on if we wanted to. There we go. So I'm just moving my iPad about a bit. Okay, now we need to also put some darker colour just on his leg there, like that. Basically just following the painting, or the photograph of the painting I got. I could put a bit of highlight in there in a minute. But he's already starting to look like the dragon I thought he would be. So I'm just gonna get a bit more yellow in that actually. Let's get that a bit lighter. There we are. I'm just going to put a small amount of white just on the tip of my brush. I want to put a highlight across the top of his wing like that. Looks drastic, I know, but what we're going to do then is we're going to put some red over that later on when it's dry, which is going to give us the ability to make it look like a lighter red without actually painting it on there. Back into some black, because we need to think about his fold in his wing. So his fold in his wing is going to come like that. This is still that red and black that we just mixed up. Just to make it look as if there's a bit of a fold there. Yeah, I can go into there, back into red and black, and we put another fold there. I'm still using this number 6. I should be using a bigger brush, but at the moment I'm just enjoying the painting. So if it takes you a bit longer with a smaller brush, does it matter? No, I don't think it does. I think it's if you're enjoying the painting, so just enjoy the painting. There's nobody says you have to use certain brushes for certain things. And we've got another one then just there, I think. There we are. Bit of moisture on my brush because I want to Just put a shadow there like that. Back into some cadmium red now. Building up the red on this layer, because we don't want it all dark. You know, the idea of this dragon is that he's a Welsh dragon and he's red. Welsh dragons are red, so we don't want it too dark. But on the other hand, we don't want it too light, because we've got to show the form of this wonderful animal. I'm just going to get some yellow just down there, just to put a little bit of light there. Again, back into some cadmium red. Painting over that lighter colour. As his underbelly, we can put some black on him in a minute, but for the moment I just want a bit darker under there, like that. There we go. Let's put some lines. Let me just paint this leg nice and red. There we go. Paint that leg nice and red. Put some red in there like that. So anybody got some Welsh family, if you live abroad, or you live up England or Scotland or in Ireland or any other part of the world, and you want to paint something for your Welsh family, then I think this would be a fantastic thing to do for them, and it would make a wonderful birthday or Christmas present. I think if you painted a Welsh dragon for them, especially if you've got Welsh heritage, then there's nothing more Welshmen would like than a Welsh flag, I think, or Welsh lady even. That's quite dark there, but you know, it's okay. I quite like that. I quite like that dark look. I don't want him too red. I don't want him too red. Just building and building and building. Wales actually won the Grand Slam this year against Ireland. It was a wonderful match that was. We was watching it the other week actually. I like the old Welsh rugby from the 80s and 70s and 80s. That's when people like Gareth Edwards and JPR Williams and that were playing, and that's what I remember sitting there with my family when I was younger and watching those matches and seeing them running across the finishing line. It was amazing. It was a wonderful time of rugby for Wales. And JPR Williams doesn't live far from where I live, actually. Clive is. A lot of people live close to you. You'd be surprised. Wales is a wonderful place if you want to visit. As I said, I'll be taking you around later on in the year to different parts of Wales, and I hope you follow along with me, and so we can paint some landscapes and some castles, and as I mentioned earlier. Oops, went a bit mad there. So what we'll do, we'll just paint around that like that. There we go. You're not going to see much of this because it's in shadow. There you go. I quite like the look of him so far. It is coming. It is coming. I'm tempted to do a line around him actually, but I don't know whether I should or not. But I'm going to get some white now, because what I want to do is put his claws in place. Holding my breath as I was painting then. Or do you do that? I wonder if you do that. Or is it just me? Right, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that red black on my brush because I want to put a bit of shadow in there like that. I don't want it too harsh. Right, I shall touch that up in a minute. I want to put a claw there. I want to put a claw there. I also want to put a little bit of a claw there and a little bit of a claw there. Like that. Yep, I like him, I like him, I like him, I like him. Now what we're going to do now is we've also got to put some it's my grandson's 18th birthday party soon, and that's making me feel really old. I don't know where the time goes sometimes. I really don't. We keep a welcome in the hillside, we keep a welcome in the vale. Okay. Now he's starting to look a bit like a Welsh dragon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry that with a hairdryer, and I'm going to work on some grass then, I think, and I'll go back to him and then just finish off a few details, I think, and just get that wing to look a bit more wing-like. Not as dry as I really want it to be dry, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a little bit of green. I'm just going to put a bit of green there, and I'm going to add a bit of this black to it. I want to darken the green up, basically, with a bit of black, and I'm just going to put some darker green just underneath the dragon like this, just to make it look as if maybe there's a shadow. I'm just going to get a little bit of moisture just on the tip of my brush just to try and blend that through. Where's that lighter green? There we go, bit of lighter green. Oops, gone on the red there, didn't want to do that, doesn't matter. Nice dark green there. Well, it was until I put some white to it. So let's darken that up again. There you go. It's nice painting something like this. Something fantasy, I would say. If you paint in something that's a fantasy type of painting, then you know you can just enjoy yourself, and you can you can you go to town with it, really, can't you? You know, because it doesn't exist, so it only exists in your eyes, and I think that's cool that that we can do that. Just picking up a little bit of moisture under my brush just to let my paint flow a bit. There we go. Yeah, I think that's good to do that. Getting a little bit of green now, and just put some lighter bits here and there and there and here, because as I said, at the end of the day, I'm trying to represent the flag here as well, so I've also got to think of that. You know, this is not about doing things 100% accurate, because it's a painting of my Welsh flag, of my country. So, you know, it's still got to represent it a little bit, but I don't want to. It doesn't have to be particularly perfect, as long as it looks like a Welsh flag. Basically, that's all I'm looking at. As long as it looks like that, then I've done my job. And that's the way we want to look at these type of things, these fantasy things. And as I said, I have painted a couple of dragons in my time, but now before I put some grass in there, I want to have a look at his legs. So I'm just going to put that brush down one side a minute. I'm just going to pick up my red back onto my stick, and I'm just going to put in a bit more of that cadmium red. There, like that. Or in my paint, this is primary red, but you can use cadmium red. That's good. And you could do another layer on top of this if you wanted to, and if you wanted to make it look a bit more luminescent is the word I was looking for. Because the more layers you put on, the more it'll build up like that then. But I'm quite happy with the way he's looking at the moment. I'm getting that look that I want. Okay, just need some more kitchen paper. I've just seen a line I didn't like, so I've just taken that away. Right, what I've got to do now is get some white paint, because I want to put some this is like claws on the end of his wing. That's what this is. I'll put a bit more colour on him in a minute. Okay, now I'm just looking at this. I'm gonna get a bit of yellow, orange. I'll put a bit of highlight there. That's the white paint that I put on earlier. So hopefully now, if I've thinned that down enough, I should be able to paint over that, and you'll still have that white glow coming through it. I'm just taking my attention to some grass now, and I've got a long thin brush, which is a script lining brush. Again, these are all available on www.clive5art.co.uk. What I'm going to do now is just put some grass. I've just picked up some red. Never mind. I forgot I painted that. I mean, yeah, I just put some blades of grass in. There we go. put some darker bits of grass in a second. Just put some little flicky bits like this. Get some darker green now. Don't forget, as I've said in many a time, that acrylic paint does dry darker, so you want to put a bit of grass under there. There you go. Maybe we can put some grass there now, like that. You get a little bit of black over, just to darken that down. I want a slightly darker grass now. Just bordering on the black maybe, I don't know. Let's put a few shadows there like that. No, he's looking pretty good. He's looking like a Welsh dragon should. I'm quite happy. Quite happy. Making a complete mess of my palette now. And why not? Have fun. Enjoy. Just enjoy. Happy with that. Happy with that. Okay, so back into my very small brush again. Picking up a bit of this black and red. So I want to put a bit of shadow there. I want to put a bit of shadow there. There you go. I want to bury his foot a bit more. Let's put some more grass there. There you go. Sitting back and let's have a look at this. What I could do, just to make it look a bit better, because I quite like the look of him now. I really need to make this. I need to make this a lighter red. It's a bit pink. You can take it too far sometimes. You can do a little bit too much, but that's okay. Am I happy with this? Am I happy? Let's put a little bit more. Light. There, like that. Oh, he's like it. I like him. I like him. I do like him. I do like him. Don't like that bit of green there, so let's just put a few. Marks like that. You sometimes using your finger, you're not supposed to. Well, they say you're not supposed to. It doesn't matter, but if you want a good blend, if you want that to smooth in, just use your finger and push it in. You know, there's no law saying you can't do that. As if it's your painting, you can do it. You can do what you like with it. So don't let anybody tell you can't. There we go. Tell him Clive said. Tell him Clive said. Clive said it was okay because Clive does it. There you go. I quite like that. So thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. I'm just going to sign that in the bottom corner. You can sign it any way you want. So thank you very much for joining me in the studio today. The painting the Welsh Dragon, that's the national flag of Wales. Please press subscription button down below if you want to see some other videos that I produce on a Monday at 7:30 every Monday. And over there is a button that you can press to either go to my website or to the Patreon if you want to pay. Pop along to Patreon and support me for as little as $1 a month. There, that's all it takes to help me produce wonderful paintings like this. So thank you very much for joining me in the studio. This will be available and the tracing will be available. So I'll see you next time. Bye.